Quincy is a very talented developer, and this is the first time that we have caught up together on Zoom in over a year, and it was just a real pleasure. We talked for over 5 hours, and I was able to catch almost 2 hours of it on video. I have just chosen just a little bit of a snippet for you to enjoy. It's just, he's full of inspiration, full of vision, and full of energy. And I just find that every time I have a conversation with Quincy, I walk away just really realizing, wow, we live in a very special time. All right, everybody, do enjoy.
There's not just going to be the next big Facebook. What's going to happen is there's going to be a collection of different applications. Let's say there are 5 big applications that were launched, very, very big. Well, now that those apps exist, other applications can tap into those apps and utilize their features, similar how the game modes can interact with different cards. So what's going to happen is you'll get one big application, and then smaller application will utilize features of that one, and then other applications will utilize features of that one, and then what would end up happening is after like 4, 5, 6 iterations, you end up, instead of having one app, you end up having 1,000 different apps that all utilize different functions and features from all the different other ones, and they're able to utilize features that they don't have to build themselves, and that just keeps building on top of each other until you start getting this overarching huge digital economy on the blockchain that I don't think we're seeing yet. But when people say, oh, like when is what's going to happen, that's what you should be looking for. That's the what that you should be looking for. That highly expansive economy of applications that trigger off of each other and can utilize functions off of each other. That's the what, if you want to be excited for. That is the thing. If you have one application and another application executes off of it, let's say you charge a penny per execution. Well, if someone executed the second application, that costs a penny to execute yours. And if somebody has an application off of that one, they'll execute the second one and then execute yours again. And then you'll just essentially have this growing pool of essentially of resources, simply based on the fact that people can connect their applications to. And as people utilize other applications that are derivatives of the original application, that original application gets executed and grows also. So it's just that is the key, in my opinion, to blockchain. That's the key that Web2 doesn't have. Every single Web2 application needs to build out their own set of tools, their own set of bridges, their own set of APIs, their own means of communicating. And even then, it's not very cohesive. Where with blockchain, every app can communicate with every app so natively, so easily. And since they're all hosted decentrally, it's essentially zero cost to be able to grow that economy. Where, like I said, a Web2 application is only as big as your budget.
6-month break you took from from making videos and keeping your head down and building, and still, keeping the XDC network building out, and then working on your own ideas. It's been well worth it. I just love the fact that you're still in this space and still building and still back communicating and letting us know, because you really do make this realization that the blockchain is just going to be world changing. And I love your idea.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. And it's one of those things I want people to know I want people to know see what I see, because I think once you see it, it's bigger than any, like what I'm describing to you is not as big as what I'm is nowhere near as big as what it's actually going to be. That's the craziest part. So like when you say like, oh, like the next Facebook, it's the next Facebook's going to make the new face or the normal Facebook look like peanuts, look tiny, because it's going to be a worldwide thing. Anybody can connect to it. It's going to be so much bigger than I can describe. It's just, it's the horizon. And the closer we start coming to it, the clearer the picture starts to become. I just hope I can sort of catalyze that for people in the space now. And like I said, I hope people to be more excited about the Dapps rather than simply just the tokens or simply just the tokenomics of people buying and selling. It's so much bigger than that. And the way I like to sort of describe it is, these networks are going to be comparable to global economic growth. Like I don't mean like national economic growth. I mean global economic growth. Like, right. And it's the whole thing. It's hard to picture. But imagine if you could quantify. Imagine if you can quantify. How should I put it? Imagine if you can quantify usage of the internet based off of the amount of money that's being generated off that usage. And you can, but you only do it per company. What if you did that for every company in every country in the world all at once? That's essentially what the blockchain is. And it's way bigger than we can even see. But it's going to be those apps that build those usage. And it's just like with Web2, where this is the last example. I know I've been going on a little bit. But people sort of look at Web 2 and they take it a little bit for granted, where they're like, oh, Web 2's always been here. Well, Web 2's been here for a while, but Web 2 didn't kick off until smartphones. Yeah, people were on the internet before smartphones, but it was sort of like you had to sort of make time to be on the internet, where now you're on the internet 24/7 all the time, zillion different applications, all connected to the internet all at the same time, where before you need to have a computer and maybe you may be checking your email, or maybe you might check your Facebook, but it was nothing like it is now. And it's the exact same way with blockchain, where, and I think personally that tiny keyhole of a catalyst, the smartphones of blockchain, in my opinion, will be CBDCs, because then now people can essentially use their bank accounts to interact with blockchain applications, just like people can use their cell phone to interact with Web 2 applications. And it just creates this whole new means of interaction on the internet that's never been even touched before, like smartphones in a sense. But the difference is you're able to move value and you're able to scale applications way bigger and way faster than you ever could have in any way possible. Like, it's so crazy to think about.
You are really so lucky to be, where you're at in terms of being able to, participate as a developer, and the way you've been able to explain to us where it's going. And you're so young now, you're going to really be able to see this come to fruition, which is so exciting. And you're right. I think it's much bigger than we all are imagining right now. We're all a little in the tribal. The wonderful thing, I think, is that tribalism is going to disappear. I hope, don't you think?
I think so. I think tribalism. So I think the tribalism is going to disappear when people start looking at it. I always come back to this. When people start looking at apps, people are just get tribal about the apps than the networks, because then they're going to go, I want every app to be compatible with every network, so I got as many users as possible, and I want to have that app be as big as possible. It'll be just like that. And where I think a lot of people now are sort of focused on, or really sort of, I don't want to say it like this, but sort of insecure about their place of what network they chose. But the biggest thing comes down to, I think what's going to end up happening is, if the networks can't be compatible, it won't make it. So if your network's focusing on some level of compatibility with other networks, to some degree, it's going to have its chunk of the blockchain, its chunk of the internet in some capacity. And it really just comes down to, one, being compatible with, or being able to bridge and be compatible with other networks, but two, having either a niche set of features or a niche set of industries utilizing a set of features. So like I said, you may use XRP for derivatives and liquidity. You may use XDC for hybrid applications. You may use Theta for streaming. Whatever its niche is essentially going to be those specific type of applications that are built on it, that are able to communicate with other applications and other users on other networks. It's just on that network, because that network has a niche technology that it's utilizing to allow it to do whatever it does. And that's what I think what the majority of it's going to be. And we may even look into the future where, and I think this is already going to be the case, where the average person is not going to know what blockchain they're using. Just like the average user doesn't know if their application is using an Oracle database, a SQL database, a NoSQL database. They don't know this. They're just like, oh, it just has a database. The exact same thing with blockchain. It's the exact same thing. You may not even realize. And that's when you may see a little sticker on the bottom of the page saying powered by XDC, powered by XRP, powered by whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be a direct user. It already isn't. It's a protocol. But that protocol is going to be used by a ton of different applications for their niche features to be able to build whatever application and whatever use that they want to use that application for.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree there. And that's the part that's going to be, I think, an improvement on the space big time when it comes to where we're kind of stuck right now in that insecurity, where we've chosen maybe to make a small investment in one of the projects, and we feel threatened when we see another project making some advancement. Yeah. And so I'm really looking forward to the day where that's gone.
Yeah, and the thing I think is really funny about it is it's an exponential thing. So the way I always make this joke with people, just like smartphones. So in 2005, someone would have went, what's a smartphone? In 2010, someone would have been like, you're a loser if you don't have a smartphone. You see what I mean? See, and that's like, it's two totally different worlds where once you have a smartphone, the entire internet opens up in a whole new way that we didn't even think about. Where in 2005, we'd be like imagine trying to explain Uber, WhatsApp, TikTok to somebody in 2005, but they'd be like, what? Like, you're telling me people have like cameras on their phones and they can share that with people all over the world and everyone watches them, and like people right now are watching us like on probably a smartphone. Like
yeah, and it happened so fast, just going from the the flip phone that didn't have anything but text to a smartphone. It happened so fast. So I imagine blockchain is even going to go, this Web2 to Web3, I think, is even going to go faster.
And that's the thing. Imagine like sitting in 2001 explaining to somebody like social media or something. They'd be sitting there going, when is it, man? Is it Facebook? And you may be going, well, Facebook's gonna be the biggest. And they may go, yeah, but it's just used by college students. And you see what I mean? Like, it's so like it's hard to see where things are gonna go, but you can sort of see, like I said, you can see the horizon of where things are going. And like I said, I think CBDCs and banks, institutions, brokers being able to utilize these networks in their already established institutions to allow, and that's the thing, the way I like to describe it is, especially when it comes to institutions, the same way, you know how you like log in with Google. So you may use your Google login to like log into a separate application. Now imagine doing that, but you log in with your bank account into a Dapps. You see what I mean? Just like you would log in with your Google account into another application, it's just like a little bubble comes up. You click in your little, maybe you have like autofill your login info, send in the login info, and then boom. You know how when you use like MetaMask or XDC Pay, you'll see your little string at the top. It'll be just like that, but right before you get to that, it'll just be you logging in with your bank account, and now you're connected to a Dapps, and you can easily interact with any Dapps. And most people won't even be utilizing ledgers or wallets in any regards. They'll just be doing it through their bank and through some subsidiary login mechanism to allow them to connect to those applications. And that's the thing though, then you get everybody, like your mom, your sister, your brother, your grandma, everybody can now execute an application, adapt, without essentially having to go through all that extra, going to the exchange, buying the crypto, putting it on your ledger, storing your it would literally just cut all of that out, while at the same time having that same functionality of being able to log in and connect and interact with it as like no big deal.